All right, doing this video outside because it is way too nice out. So hopefully you can hear me. And hopefully nothing blows away. Okay. Just make sure. Yeah, you can see that. So I'm going to do the back piece blue. And then I'm gonna do the distressing with the butter knife, which is what we did for the pumpkin garland a long time ago. And the nice thing about these lines for the stars is that we can paint over those and you're still gonna be able to see them so that you can line up your stars when you glue them. I gave you guys a foam brush, but I'm gonna use my trusty car wash sponge, just because it's quicker. You can use a paintbrush, you can use whatever. So I just get, I think it's like a 6-pack of these car wash sponges, and just cut them up into like 8 pieces, and they're so quick to put paint on with. And you can wash them too. And if you get like, you know, crusty parts because you didn't wash them right away, you can just cut those parts off. But it's so quick. And then the nice thing about the navy blue is that you really don't have to worry about going off on the edge too much, because the edge is already dark. So you'll see it's getting like, it's covering it, but it almost looks like a stain because I'm not putting it on very thick, and I'm kind of wiping it as I go. So if you want, you know, more of a rustic stain look, you know, get something to spread it on lightly like this. We got birds in the background. It's fabulous. Or if you have a baby wipe and you put your paint on with that, it's also going to give you like that stained look on your wood. So I really like how it's not completely solid. It just helps the rustic feel for it, but it's just preference. And if you're planning to put your fabric in without letting it dry overnight, just make sure you blow it dry, or that you don't get it too thick in that edge, so that when you pull your fabric through, it catches like a goopy spot of paint. So just make sure it's good and dry. All right, so I'm only gonna do 1 coat, and hopefully I can hold this up to the camera and you can see it. Yeah, my lid doesn't want to go back on. There we go. Good old baby wipes. Oh, I shouldn't have put that lid on. I think I am. Yeah. All right. Good enough. So I did a light coat. I've still got like, hopefully you guys can see that. I still have the grain of the wood showing up, and it's not completely solid anywhere really. So it's just gonna help contribute to the rustic part. And then for the butter knife part, I've got a paper plate. I'll do the stars in a minute. I've got a paper plate. That's pretty much dry just because I did such a thin coat. Maybe I should do the stars first just for the heck of it. The trick with the stars, so you're not holding each piece and getting paint all over yourself, is painter's tape. any little pieces, and now we got a helicopter going overhead, so any little pieces like this, you know, with the tray kits or whatever, if you put down some painter's tape, I'm gonna wait for the helicopter. It was just way too nice out to set up a table inside. Okay, so any little pieces, if you put down painter's tape and just double it over onto your surface, and then just tack your little pieces down, it's going to save you from having to hold all of these little things and getting paint all over your hands. So then take your makeup sponge. Yeah. So with the makeup sponges, dip it in there, and then you want to wipe off all of the excess. For smaller, more delicate little pieces even, you could like pat it off on a paper towel. And you're just going straight up and down. You can make the painter's tape tighter, but because my placemat or tablecloth's got some give. Also, if your stars, because I put masking paper over these stars so that they wouldn't get that charred edge that's sometimes hard to cover up with a light color, they probably need to be sanded. So you have a little piece of sandpaper in your bag. I'm just noticing I haven't done it, but I don't really care. So if you don't like how your stars feel, sand them first. You can sand them after, but give them a light sand and it'll take that rough stuff off. I'm probably gonna do a second coat on these. And if you push too hard or if you have too much paint on, that's when you are gonna go over your edge. But if you stay straight up and down, light pats, just multiple coats, you shouldn't get your edges too gunked up. But if you do, just get one of those paint pens. If this is gonna go outside, you need to seal it with something. I would recommend sealing it with a spray, something that says non-yellowing for outdoor. Spray it flat just so that, God forbid, something doesn't run while it's hanging. If you're going to spray it, don't use a Sharpie to clean up your edges. You definitely want a paint pen, and you want a water-based paint pen, not an oil-based paint pen. So the Elmer's ones from Walmart, the Uniposca ones, just because the oil-based ones, if you do spray them, they're probably gonna run, or they'll turn like yellowish. That's another thing that oil-based stuff does. I do like the grain of the wood poking through on these. And I think that I am going to use the butter knife on them with some blue, I think. So I'm not worrying about the coat being too thick or solid. I guess that's the word. It's just preference. You can go through and do another light coat. All right. So to do the butter knife technique with that, again, you can reuse these makeup sponges. I would drop them in some water if you're not ready to wash them yet. Because when they dry out, then it's hard to wash them. But before that, it's fine. The color should come out. Like, it'll stain if you're using them like with a dark color, but then just keep that sponge and use it for something in that color family later on. So the knife technique, you can put it on your paper plate, but I'm just like flattening it out so I don't have globs on my knife. And you're just gonna do like a putty knife. Like, there's no like right or wrong way to do it. it just weathers stuff without having, like, when you use the chip brushes, I like that look too, but it's more of a uniform weathering, I think, with those. This gives you more of a imperfect kind of look. So that is all I'm gonna do. So I just put the butter knife in the paint, and then I took most, like, flattened most of the excess off, and just aged my backer. And then the stars, I might put some blue on. They seem like they're dry. You want to make sure they're dry, because if you don't, it'll get all muddied up. Your colors will blend together and, like, make a light blue, which I really don't want. Like, I want to keep it a dark blue. Super quick project. Something you can use for Memorial Day, you know, 4th of July, Labor Day, or leave it up all year if you have, like, that farmhousey Americana thing going on. So the blue, same thing. I might hold my stars for this one. I'm just doing the end of the knife, and then just flattening most of it back off. Let's see. I'm gonna try laying them down. I don't want them too blue. Just a little hint of color. To me, it feels weird to me if, like, your background looks rustic, but then, like, the stuff that's on the top doesn't. I didn't need more paint. I don't know why I did that. All right. So while all that's drying, there's wire in your bag, because I wanted to use a wire hanger this time. And the way I do this is I feed it through the front, and then I use a pencil or anything pencil shaped, and I just roll it a few times to give it that, like, little curly cue that kind of, it takes the place of having to twist your wire around itself, like, so it doesn't fall off. And then however long you want it, you might need to trim it, you know, or you can make more curly cues. Put that and go a little tighter. But that's it. So it goes along with that old-timey kind of feel I feel like the wire does. And then you can still see the outlines of the stars to glue them on. I'm just using a super glue. If it's going outside for long, you know, or if you get a lot of sun wherever it's going, I would use a wood glue, something for outdoors. The Tight Bond 3 is my favorite, but so use the lines to line it up, just set it and then leave it alone. I'm just gonna go through and put a dot. And my glue just ran. If it's gonna go outside, you definitely don't want to use hot glue gun, because when the sun beats on it, it's gonna melt that hot glue again. This super glue isn't really quick drying. It's pretty quick, but it gives you some wiggle room. So if you do want something that dries pretty fast but gives you some flexibility, this is called Stick Fast. It's the I don't know what the CA stands for, but it's the CA thick one. I really like it, because I like the instantness of the super glue, because I get impatient, but I still want to be able to move stuff just a smidge before it's completely set. Okay. While I give that a minute, with the fabric, so you have all different colors. You can put ribbon in there, you can put beads on some of them. It's, you know, the sky's the limit. But what I had intended for you guys to do is, there's like 4-inch roughly pieces, some are 5-inch probably, some are 3. So if you put, we're just gonna imagine that these are still together. So if you have your fabric, just go through and put snips at every 1-inch mark, and then you're just gonna tear straight down. It gives you that really nice frayed edge. And then figure out how you want to put them in. I only have one blue piece, so I've got that going in the center on mine. And the way to put the fabric in, I found, is that if you lay the two front sides together, you'll make this little loop, like a little, it looks like one of the cancer ribbons almost, like that kind of a loop. So that loop is gonna go through the front. I think my stars are dry, but I don't want to tip it too much. Through the front, pull your fabric through, keeping it still, like, so the right sides are up, and then you can pull it while keeping this, the right side of the fabric up on the loop as well. So just go through and do that, just alternating whatever pattern you want. And some of the pictures that I've seen of these in the group where I bought the file, like, they aren't making them even. You know, it kind of makes it a little fuller. I have a symmetry issue, so I need everything to be the same length and stuff. So just go through, put your fabric in, or your ribbon, or whatever you're using. I'm not gonna do the rest of the video with you guys watching me put this ribbon in. I'm just gonna post the final picture. So if you have any questions, yeah, so I guess make your loop up at the top and then join your fabric, like, so that the front sides are up. That way you kind of know. If you have any questions, just holler. If you want more of the wood backers, it would be a fun craft to do with friends. I can make more of them just for you guys. So I'm gonna do 2 more of the first 2. 1, 2, and then I'm gonna put my blue mine are extra frayed because I had them in already and I took them out. I'm gonna put the blue in the center. Some of you have like more blue and only one of the red, like stronger colors, whether it's the stars or like, I think there's a red paisley that got mixed in there. So whatever pattern. All right, so I'm gonna keep doing the ribbon. I'm gonna post the final picture. But that is it. So let me know if you have any questions. Thanks, everybody.